different ways. Okay. So one is nothing but if you go to develop section. So if you move to develop section, so there will be one place called Apex classes.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the place where we can write a code. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you come down, so there will be called Visual Force pages.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a place where we are going to write a VA pages.
Okay.
Okay. So first we'll just click on some Apex classes. Okay. So let me check on Apex classes. Okay. So this is the one places where we are writing the
Classes.
classes. Okay. So currently there is no classes available here. Okay. If there is any method classes which are created earlier, so everything it will be available here. Okay. All classes will be available here. So now this is a fresh org I created, so there is no classes available here.
Okay.
So once it is done, just click on new button. Okay, just click on new button.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you click on new button, so it is basically it is opening one editor. Okay, editor. So that editor basically we are going to create classes. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the editor. So where we can directly write a classes over here. Okay. So let me write one simple class. So this is nothing but a simple class. Okay, so we are not discussing anything about this one specifically. This is how we are writing the classes. Okay, so this is nothing but a access specifier. So we'll talk little later. Okay, so this is nothing but a class. This is a reserved keyword. Okay, which tells the compilers that this is a class. Okay, so this is nothing but a class name.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you say here access specifier. Okay. Second thing is nothing but it is a keyword. Okay. Third thing is nothing but a
Class name.
Okay. Whereas access specifier and keyword is nothing but it should be a it is a reserved word.
Okay.
We can't write it as publics. We can't write like this. These are the reserved keyword. If you write like this, compiler automatically it will understand those particular words.
Okay.
So this is nothing but a custom class name. Okay. This is nothing but a custom class name. You can write it your name also. It will accept.
Okay.
So this is how we can write a simple class.
Okay.
Okay. How to save that one? So if you want to like immediate save. Okay. Let's say immediate save. You can click on quick and save. Okay. So it will save that particular record and it will keep the editor open.
Yes.
Okay. If you say save, basically it will save it and exit back.
Okay.
Okay. So this is nothing but how to write a simple classes. Okay. This is the one way how we are writing the class.
Yes.
Okay. And second thing is nothing but if you come here. Okay. If you click on this particular drop down of the name. Okay. You can able to see some developer console, right?
Yeah.
Developer console. Just click on that. Okay. Or else if you go to the Apex class also, if you click on this particular Apex class, here also there is same link available. Okay, so developer console where here see same link available here also. Click on that. Okay. So once you click on that, it is going another tiny application. Okay. This is not a page, it is another application. Okay. Here also basically we can able to write a Apex class.
Okay.
So to write those particular class, go to file. Okay. Click on new. Click on Apex class. Okay. Go to file. Click on new. It is asking what you want to write, classes or trigger or via page. So click on Apex class. Okay. So here we can able to give a name first. Second class. So what it will happen? So by default it will give here because this is a developer console, right? So no need of writing like public class. But give the name second class directly writing the classes.
Okay.
Right? Once you return this class, basically go and save the record, save the data. You can click on Control S also, or you can come here and you can save. Correct?
Okay.
Okay. So go back to the same section of Apex class and refresh the page. Basically here you should get two classes, correct?
Yes.
See, one is created via the this particular Salesforce editor. Another one is created by the developer console. Okay, this is the second way. Even though what and all classes created from the developer Salesforce UI also available here. Let's say go to open. Okay, here it is asking what classes. See here, first class and second class both will be
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
See here. Edited from. So I'm editing from this record. This class is created from the UI, right?
Yeah.
Salesforce UI. But I am editing this particular class in the developer console. If you go to this particular class from the Salesforce UI and if you open this, that same changes it will be available in this.
Okay.
Correct? Any
Yeah.
question?
No question.
Okay. So this is the second way of creating a particular
Class.
class. Okay. Third
Yeah.
way is nothing but by using Eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So by using Eclipse.
Yeah.
So how to create a classes by using Eclipse? So for that basically, so you have to install a Java. Okay. If you Eclipse is nothing but some editor. Okay. Editor.
Okay.
Okay. It is nothing but a third party editor. Okay. Where we can write a codes. Okay. So where we can do a deployment everything. Eclipse is nothing but a third party application. Okay.
Yeah.
So all third party application, if you install a particular plugin or a software for that particular Eclipse, so that Eclipse will allow you can write a Apex class, or you can write a Visual Force pages, or you can deploy a particular codes from one sandbox to another sandbox. Okay, that things basically we can do it by using Eclipse.
Okay.
Okay, for that, so prerequisites is nothing but so you have to install a Java in your machine. Okay, so you have to install Eclipse in machine. Okay, once that tools are successfully done, then basically you have to install a plugins for that particular Eclipse.
Okay.
So once that plugins installation is done, basically we have to download the this particular code. Okay, I will show you once once after some few sessions. Okay, I will show you how to install that particular Eclipse and how to use that.
Yes. Yeah. Correct.
So that's the. So there's a three places where we can do a
Class.
write a classes. Okay, especially classes.
Yeah.
Okay, and second thing is nothing but how to write a pages. Correct? How to write a Visual Force pages.
Yes.
Okay, just go and click on Visual Force pages. Same thing, it will open a editor. If you click on new button, it will open the classes. Sorry, pages. Okay. So I will say first. See, if you observe any HTML page, okay, so if you observe any HTML page of your browser, each browser is an HTML page, right? So everything is an HTML page, correct? So if you open any one of the pages and if you see the source code of this particular page, the page always begin with the called HTML, right?
Yeah. HTML tag.
Yes, it always the open of the that particular thing is HTML. Always HTML. See, so HTML, correct? The open tag of particular application is HTML, and the closing of that particular thing is nothing but also HTML.
HTML. Okay.
This in case of HTML. So if you come to a web page, it is very similar to HTML only. Okay, but tags are a little bit different. Okay. Okay, so if you see here apex colon page, okay, and ends with apex colon page, this is nothing but a parent tag of the Visual Force page. Okay, apex
So everything whatever tried in Visual Force page will be under this.
correct. This is a parent page, parent tag. Okay. So it's a parent tag. What are all things we are writing should be a child of this particular tags.
Okay.
So this is also one important questions in the developer exams. Okay, developer certificate, which is the parent most tag of the web page. Say the apex colon page.
Okay.
Okay, so you can write anything in this particular area. It means there will be some syntax will be there. We have to follow that.
Okay.
Okay, save this particular page. Okay. Once it is saved actually, so how to see the output of this particular page? Correct? How to see the output of this particular page? For seeing the output, okay. So keep the save base URL. Base URL of the instance, correct?
Yes.
So this is the base URL of the instance, correct? So remove this particular thing, okay? Put apex, okay? Slash apex slash put this particular page name.
Okay.
Okay, this is a page name, right? It's a page name. Okay, name of the page. Okay. Entering it here. Okay. And hit the enter button.
Okay. That page will be displayed.
That page is going to show. See here, Gangara, this is your new page. Hi. Okay. So this is how we can create it and how to put a page. Okay. So this is also one of the developer questions. Okay. Okay. How to do a easiest way? There's a preview page, right? Preview.
Yes.
So now if you see here now, so the header is there, right? Sir, tabs. I don't want. Customer is saying, client is saying, remove this particular right side. Okay. Right. So we have to edit that particular.
So you can add the show header equals to false.
Correct. So show header is equal to false. Okay. So show header is equal to false. Sidebar is equal to
false. Okay. So both will
side is equal to false. Show this side.
Yeah.
So create new or recent item. Don't show it. Okay. So it's about just overview of the how to write a VF page. Okay. So this basically we'll call it. This one we'll call it as attributes.
Okay.
So this one basically we'll call it as attributes. So if you see here now, there is no header or there is no sidebar.
Okay.
If you want to give some color or if you want to add some look and feel, so basically we can add some CSS or jQuery inside this particular VFA and we can render it accordingly. Okay. Clear? Any question?
No. So that's so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is about basics about VF page. Okay. If you want to write a trigger is nothing but a set of business logic which will fire automatically. Okay. Whenever you are doing some CRUD operations like inserting some data or updating some data or deleting some data, whenever you are doing some operations for the record, this set of business logic will automatically it will fire. Okay. That kind of logic which will be putting it in the triggers. Okay. Clear? So and another very important thing of the trigger is that the trigger should be a bulky file. Okay?
Yes.
So it should be a bulky file. So why it should be a bulky file? We'll talk it in that particular session. Okay. So that is about how to write a trigger. Yeah. So there are some other things like custom settings will be there, and something called static resources will be there. How to refer some JavaScript, external JavaScript or some CSS file or some image file. So that everything it will be stored in the static resources and it will deliver from this particular static resources.
Okay.
So that things it will be stored in the static resources. What is nothing but a custom settings. Okay. So sometimes if you want to hard code some data, correct? So hard code is nothing but I want to store some email IDs or I want to store some phone number of the particular employees, which is changing frequently. Right? So email which is changing frequently. So that kind of things will be stored in the custom setting. Okay. So why custom setting is required is nothing but let's say I am hard coding your email ID in this one of the classes, correct? Okay. I deploy the code into production. Tomorrow, let's say you are changing your email ID, right? So if you added your email ID as a part of code is in code, then what it will happen if you change the email ID? Basically, how to change the code also, correct?
Yeah, correct.
If we change the code, then basically we have to do a deployment from testing is required and deployment is required, correct? That things it will be involved. So in that case, so basically these kind of custom settings which will be helpful. Okay. In that case, so custom setting basically we are storing the data in the custom setting and we are referring that particular things in the code. Okay. If there is any changes in the data, so which will not impact any code changes.
Okay.
So there is no impact on the classes or it may be any web service things. For that we should always use a custom settings.
So just to reiterate, so whatever things what we are hard coding in the code, like record IDs, email IDs, or some particular values, so we should put into the custom settings and then we should refer that custom setting into the code.
Correct, yes.
Okay. And one more thing, so as you are saying, कि whenever there is a change in the code, like in the class, if you have hard coded your email ID and you deploy it to the production, so you have to make that change in a code. So you have to do it in sandbox and then deploy it in production, right?
Exactly,
So you can, it means that you cannot edit any class in the production?
No, you cannot.
There is no way to edit it, can?
No, we can't edit.
Okay, not through a third party tool also, nothing?
No, there is no way we can edit the code in the production.
Okay.
So even though a lot of things we can't do it in the production actually. Okay. Not only editing the code, we can't create a Apex page also. Okay.
Because you will not get a new button there, I guess then.
Correct,
in that case.
Correct. So it will be not available in the production sandbox. What and all changes we have to do it. So we have to do it in the sandbox. Okay.
So it's the best practice to write hard-coded IDs and everything into custom settings. So you don't have to worry about again and again deployment.
Correct. So it is always a best practice to add the data so which is frequently changing. So in the custom setting. Okay. So basically we will store some of the security token. Let's say assume I am connecting with the third party server. Okay. In that case I need user ID, password, security token, or it may be certification details, everything required. Correct. So which we will not hard coded in the code. Why? Because let's say sandbox has to connect for their test environment. Correct.
Yes.
Our development environment should connect to that third party development environment. Correct.
Yes.
If I hard coded a code, what it will happen if you push the same code to a production will always point to a developer environment of the third party. Correct.
Yes.
So in that case, so basically to avoid that, so basically it is a best practice to add all these kind of things into the custom setting.
Okay. Got it. Yeah.
Okay, clear, right?
Yeah.
So that is the thing. That is something which will be stored in a custom setting. Okay. So any IDs. Sometimes record ID may be used. Some of the times we are using few recorders. Let's say assume some accounters or maybe some contacts. We are explicitly maintaining that things in the custom setting. Okay. So that things will be managed over here. Okay. So email, I think I am not sure email services. If you want to switch on and switch off the email things. So basically we can do it in the email services. This is not a development part. So this is admin configuration only, email services. Okay. So yeah, so that is some basic things. Okay. About the development.
Okay.
Yeah. So connected app will be there. So yeah, this is a connected app. If you want to connect to a third party, so basically make sure we have to do some configuration in these particular connected apps like URL, username, password. These kind of things we have to configuration we have to do it in the connected app section.
Okay.
So this is about the just high level overview of the where to write Apex class, how to write Apex class, okay, and how to write a web page, how to execute that web page, and all. Okay. So maybe I think we will stop the today's session. Okay. So tomorrow basically we'll start up with the concept called what is a class. Correct. What class will happen once you save that particular class, how class will compile. Correct. So how to invoke that particular class, how to write a business logic, okay, what are the OOPS concept, that things we will cover it in the tomorrow session. Okay. So what time we can connect tomorrow?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.